Hi everyone, John here from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. And today I want to speak to you guys about the mistakes that clients can make when they hire a home inspector. Now, hiring a home inspector is probably the most important thing that you're going to do on your real estate transaction. Now, the real estate attorneys are going to disagree with me, but I think the home inspection and the home inspector is it's the most important thing that you can do to get right, to protect yourself in the real estate transaction. Because sometimes you feel that no one's on your side. If you hire the right home inspector, they're going to be your advocate. They're going to work hard for you. They're going to tell you what exactly is going on wrong with the house that you're thinking about buying. Super important to protect yourself. And there are mistakes that clients make when they hire a home inspector. So let's dig in and see what those mistakes are. Mistake number one, you hire the cheapest priced home inspector. Why would you do this? It doesn't make any sense. You're purchasing a home in New Jersey, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, $1 million plus, and you're going to price shop and try to save yourself $100. Why? If you're calling a home inspector and the first thing out of your mouth is how much do you charge, that's not the right question. That $100, $150, that's going to mean nothing if the home inspector that you hire misses a great deal of problems or one or two of the large problems that cost you thousands of dollars later in just frustration and heartache. It doesn't make sense. So look, we're not a commodity, right? Home inspectors are not all the same. Like, I'm not the same as home inspector Y, or Y is not the same as me, right? We all have different levels of skill and understanding of homes and experience and education and ability to communicate. There's a wide variety of skills that we have. So we're not all the same. We're not like you buy a Macintosh apple at one store that's likely to taste very similar to the Macintosh apple that you buy at a different store. It's not a commodity. We're all different. So please, don't try to save that $100, $150 where it's going to cost you so much later on. And people get stuck in this trap all the time trying to save this minuscule amount of money. Now, I understand that $100 or $150 is, it's a dinner. It's a dinner at a nice restaurant. But yet you're okay with hiring the lowest priced home inspector who's likely trying to just get their business going. So please be careful with this and understand that each home inspector has a different level of experience, commitment, education, number of years worked in the industry. And that all has to do with, the pricing that they charge. It's probably the higher priced home inspectors and are going to be the most experienced and the most well-trained and the ones that can communicate with you the best in both verbal and written form. So listen, do yourself a favor. Go ahead, shop around, but don't go just by price only. I see this mistake all the time. And the first thing when I answer the phone, people just want to talk about price and not the home, not their concerns, not my experience, not my education, not my background, nothing. They just want to deal with pricing. And that's such a huge mistake. Just don't fall into that trap. Don't hire the cheapest guy. You're going to be disappointed. The next mistake people make is hiring somebody that they know. And I'm not talking about hiring an experienced home inspector that you know. Just trying to be nice and hiring somebody who's like fresh out of home inspection school. They did their classes. They went on took a Zoom over the weekends for the last 8 or 10 weeks. And now they passed their home inspection test. And now you think that they're ready to inspect your house. You are sadly mistaken and incorrect in so many levels. Just because somebody took a class and they passed their home inspection test, which isn't really that hard, by the way, it doesn't make you a seasoned, veteran, experienced home inspector who can protect a client. Listen, you don't get good at doing home inspection. I mean good. till you do a couple of thousand, yes, thousand of home inspections. You don't just get good at home inspection. You do 10 home inspections, and now cousin Marty is ready to do your inspection because he's got his credentials and he's gonna, he did like 10 inspections and now he's gonna come and protect your interest in this $800,000, New Jersey home that you're buying. Please be careful with that. You don't need to be the nice guy or the nice girl. Hire somebody who is qualified, who can protect your interest and explain and understand all of the deficiencies that exist in the home that you're thinking about buying. And they need to be able to relate those problems to you in two forms, both verbal and written form. And if they're lacking in either, you're gonna have a problem. You are going to have a problem. So it's really important. Just don't hire the guy or gal that you know. Do your due diligence, make those calls, ask about their experience and background and education and commitment and the number of years they've been in business and the number of home inspections they've done, because you don't get good till you've done thousands of home inspections. So please be careful with that. The next mistake people make is blindly going with their agent's recommendation. Now, I'm not saying the agent's recommendation is a poor, unqualified home inspector. What I am saying is you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't expand your horizon to include other home inspectors. Why not take the agent's recommendation, call them, interview them, see what they have to offer, and then expand that horizon further to some other independent home inspectors, right? That person or persons on the agent's list, they may be great, but they may not be great. And I've seen a lot of these home inspectors on these agents' lists that are just soft, and they don't really tell you a lot about the house. And the reports are rather weak. Now, I know this from experience, so if you want to disagree, you can, but this is something I live, right? This is my day-to-day. And I see these reports from some people, and I've inspected homes on the second go round because the customer was not happy, with the first choice, that they made. So you have to please be careful. The agent is an agent. They're not a home inspector. Do they really know what a good home inspection is? Maybe not. I mean, maybe they just understand what the home inspectors that they're used to working with provide. And maybe they think that's a good home inspection. I mean, a good home inspection is going to last 3 or 4 hours. You guys can come. You guys can ask questions. We go through the house top to bottom. Good home inspectors, we're going to find the good, the bad in the house. So we're going to document everything and put you in the best position, either to buy the house or not buy the house or try to negotiate, maybe with the seller. I know it's hard today to do that, but there are instances where you might be able to do that. So what I'm saying here is please open your universe of potential home inspectors up that exceed the list of home inspectors on the agent's list, right? Now, as a buyer of a piece of real estate, you're spending a lot of money and you have the right to hire who you want, right? Just like you have the right to hire the attorney that you want representing you, you have the right to hire the home inspector that you want representing you. It doesn't have to be only from that agent's list. If you want to use that list, be my guest and go ahead. But what I'm saying is you're doing yourself a disservice by not interviewing the best independent home inspectors in the state of New Jersey, and we are out there. And don't limit yourself. The next mistake you guys make is not asking for sample reports from home inspectors that you are interviewing. Just like home inspectors are not the same, reporting is not the same. I've read hundreds of home inspection reports. Some of them are good. Others of them are terrible. I'm going to try to be nice. I'm not going to really rip these reports, but there are reports out there that tell you nothing. Just nothing. They're like maybe 5 or 6 pages long, and they tell you, the house is great. It's a 2,800 square foot house and we didn't find anything wrong. It's perfect. Is that what you guys want? I don't think so. You're paying good money for a home inspection. You should get a thorough and comprehensive home inspection, right? That's what you guys need to protect yourself in the home. And I'm not saying just for negotiation purposes. What I'm saying is, a good home inspection is going to allow you to understand what's happening so you can prioritize a list of concerns and maybe put an action plan to fix those items, even if the seller is not paying for those items. So a home inspection report should be completely comprehensive and it should be long. You can't look at a 2,800 square foot, 3,000 square foot house and then have that document be 6 or 7 pages long. It's just not possible. Good home inspection reports are going to be 90, 100 pages long. And yes, I know some home inspectors are going to tell me, oh, it's too long, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm still standing here 24 years, 25 years. I'm still standing here problem-free because I document and do a really great home inspection report, right? How many other home inspectors have left the business for a multitude of reasons? But some of us stand the test of time because we actually do the job correctly. And that's what you want in a home inspector, somebody who does the job correctly. So ask for those reports. And what a report should be here in New Jersey, it should clearly identify the deficiencies in the home. And there should be a picture of that deficiency. And then next to the picture, either above or below or on the side of the picture, there should be a complete description of the problem that exists. So we have a picture and we have a description. So it's easy to understand. We're not using some kind of crazy letter code. We're not using some kind of, number system or, color coded. Red is bad. Orange is you have to monitor. Green is good. That is nonsense. Picture, description. Picture, description. So you guys know exactly what's going on with the house, right? You guys are smart enough to know that a loose doorknob or hinge is not the same, as water seepage through the foundation wall or an electrical problem, right? You guys are smart people. You're buying very expensive homes. You don't need a color code, some crazy thing like this. All you need is a home inspection report written in plain English so you, the client, can understand it. It's super powerful. If you attend the home inspection, if you listen to the home inspector, if you ask questions, he or she then produces this very comprehensive, detailed report in one day, so there's no waiting, and you guys are ready to rock and roll, right? And that home inspector later on can answer any of the questions and follow up if there's any issues that you have or questions for clarity. But please do yourself a favor. Take those home inspection reports and compare them. This one versus this one versus this one. There is a significant difference. There's home inspectors here that take their time to create reports. In fact, the reports, sometimes they take longer to do than just the home inspection does. We put a lot of pride in the report. We put a lot of effort in the report. We put a lot of pictures in the report. We do a lot of things, right? Well above what most home inspectors do. So look for those home inspectors who are going to take their time, they take their craft seriously, and they want to do a really great job. So please ask for those sample reports. You will not be disappointed. It will help you make the best decision. The next mistake you do is hiring somebody with little experience doing home inspections. And this can be the worst thing you do, right? Home inspections take a long time to learn, and part of the reason why I like doing this job is because I learn something all the time. I don't know everything, but I still learn something all the time. And I've been doing it for a long time. But you have to have experience. And I know that you're going to say, John, where are these guys going to get their experience from? But, I started with condos and townhomes and, that type of thing. And then I, gradually learned and worked my way up to, to very expensive homes and, everything, in between. So you have to hire somebody with a lot of experience because they have to understand what is a defect, what is not, what's a major problem, what is not, and how to communicate that effectively to you. Is that crack something to worry about, or is it not? Is that foundation issue something to worry about, or it's not? If you're going to hire somebody that's going to just tell you to further evaluate every single thing in the house, you're wasting your money and time. Like I've said in other videos, like this is my pet peeve, where you hire a home inspector and he or she just tells you that this needs evaluation, that needs evaluation, bring a plumber, bring an electrician, bring a roofer, bring this guy, bring this guy. And then it tells you nothing, and you don't have time to bring all these people in. You have a couple of weeks. How are you going to bring all these people in to get all this stuff evaluated? So you have to hire somebody with plenty of experience who's seen all of these problems so they can sort of understand if these problems are big problems or small problems. And the only way you do that is by actually doing home inspections. You don't learn from a book. Although a book is a nice foundation, to see a problem in a book, like a chimney flashing, oh, that's what a chimney flashing is supposed to look like. But to do it actually in the field is a lot different, to see it with your own eyes, to understand what the builder's done here or there, or these problems. It's really important to have experience. And I'm talking about thousands of home inspections performed. And I know there's going to be some disagreement. But you know what? Doing 50 or 60 home inspections, taking a class and going out into the field, you're not ready. I mean, come on, you're just not ready. It's probably one of the things, that I do not like about the home inspection licensing process in New Jersey, is that it's just not enough experience. And I'm a mentor. I mentor home inspectors coming up that want to learn. I'm a mentor. And I think that, doing those inspections are not enough. Back in the day, you used to do 50 or 60 and at least, give you some idea. Now it's like, do 12, 16 home inspections and then, you take your test and you're ready to go. Oh my goodness, that is just nonsense. You are not ready to go. Just think about how crazy that is. You're gonna, I don't even know what to say about it. It's not enough. It's just not enough. So you have to make sure that your home inspector that you're hiring has plenty of years of experience with thousands of home inspections performed, and that will give you the best chance at hiring somebody who really knows what they're doing. The next mistake is hiring somebody who does home inspections as a side hustle. I don't understand this. So home inspection is a full-time business. You're either a home inspector or you're not. It's not something, it's almost like a lifestyle. It's just something that you do all the time. You're thinking about it all the time, and you're always you're always talking to customers, you're always in homes, you're always writing reports. You just can't do this on the weekends. It's not really possible. So there are home inspectors out there who believe that they can do this as a part-time side hustle or side gig, doing a couple of home inspections on the weekends. Do yourself a favor, find yourself a long-tenured, seasoned home inspector who's been doing this for a long time, and do not hire somebody who is a weekend warrior who just wants a side hustle or pocket money. This is not a pocket money business. There's just too many expenses out there. You can't really do this business as a part-time. You can't really do this business as a side hustle. It's not really designed that way. So please do yourself a favor. Hire yourself a full-time home inspector. When you're interviewing that home inspector, please make sure they do this full-time, that they're in the field, 5, 6, 7 days a week, looking at houses, and just not on the weekends or at night or in the evenings. That could be a disaster for you guys. So make sure you hire the right home inspector. The next mistake is not hiring a home inspector who uses thermal imaging. Now, thermal imaging cameras today are very, very small. So there are solid, really good inspection thermal imaging cameras that an inspector can carry on their belt, just like a lot of us do. And hiring a home inspector who uses thermal imaging is a really good idea. It's not a catch-all. I remember back in the day there was this guy on HDTV who used to, pull out his IR camera, and he used to kind of make fun of home inspectors because they missed this or that, with his, he's got a $30,000, IR camera. I think you all know who I'm talking about. And that was a complete joke. And I'm glad that guy is off the air because he did nobody a good service. But, using thermal imaging in home inspection is just a good idea because it can bring some things to light that you're not going to see with the naked eye. And it's not all the time. It's not a catch-all. It's not a miracle thing. It's not an X-ray machine. Okay, it's a temperature. It tells you differences in temperature. That's all it is. And sometimes it'll tell you if there's a water leak that you can't see. Sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes it does things, it catches things that are not apparent just visually. And it's important. It can tell you things, things about heating and air conditioning, and tell you, air loss. It can tell you insulation issues. It can probably tell you, if there's issues sometimes with water leaks behind walls or ceilings or around chimneys that you can't see. So it's just another tool in the toolbox. It's not just a catch everything kind of tool. It's an important tool that I believe we should be using for our clients. Most of us don't charge extra for it who use it, and it just helps me as a home inspector to provide more information to you, the buyer, right? That's all we're trying to do. So try to hire somebody who uses and understands how to use thermal imaging in their home inspection. It's just another layer of information that's going to be helpful to you. So there's I'm just, rough estimate, maybe 1,000 home inspectors in New Jersey right now, right? So to be a home inspector in New Jersey, you have to have a home inspection license. So you could always ask for the home inspection license. You want to make sure that your home inspector is credentialed. But I never came across an instance where somebody, had a fake license or no license. I mean, to obtain the right insurance, you need to have a license that's in good standing. So you could always check a home inspector's license with the Home Inspection Advisory Committee website. You can look up that license. And now in New Jersey, we have to put our licensing number, our home inspector license number, on the website, on our websites, or any advertising, and also including our name and address. So that has to be on there as well. So you can always look into us too. So make sure that obviously you hire somebody who's licensed and credentialed. That's super important. And also who's a member of either InterNACHI or ASHI as another layer of protection. Another mistake people make when going into the home inspection is not really understanding what a home inspection is, what it is and what it's not. So here in New Jersey, we're going to send you something called a pre-inspection agreement, which is a contract. And that's an opportunity to review kind of what a home inspection is. So make sure you review that document. But a home inspection is a non-invasive visual inspection of the property on the day of the home inspection. It's not to foretell the future. It's not to say that, in 5 or 10 years, these things will be bad. It's really a snapshot in time, basically. On the day of the home inspection, these are the conditions that exist, right? And we're just there to tell you those issues that exist. Now, issues are going to develop later with every house, even with my house. I'm a home inspector. I still have problems with my house. Things break, things go wrong. I have a heating system, I have a cooling system. These things all have finite life expectancies. So understanding what a home inspection is and what it's not is really, really helpful. And if you have questions regarding what a home inspection is, just talk to the home inspector about what it is. There are some limitations. I mean, we can't see through the walls, right? We can't perform invasive or destructive testing, which means dismantling walls or ceilings or lifting carpet or removing furniture. There are limitations to what we can do. And as a home inspection buyer of a home inspection service, you should really understand what those limitations are. And that's really, really super important. Another mistake people make is ignoring red flags when you're interviewing home inspectors. So if you feel rushed on the phone, if you feel that the home inspector is not willing or able or can answer your questions, that's a red flag, and you should just move elsewhere. There's like 1,000 of us here in New Jersey. So you should just find yourself somebody else who will take the time to go through the process, to answer your questions, and to do what you need to do. So just don't accept that. If you feel rushed, or if they're trying to get you off the phone quickly or don't have time for you now, you think they're going to have time for you later on when you have questions after the home inspection is over. So look for those red flags. How do they communicate on the phone? Are they good? Do they understand what I'm saying? Can they communicate in a way that I understand? Because if you can't communicate properly on the phone, they're not going to be able to communicate properly at the house, right? So, look for those things. Think about those things when you're hiring a home inspector. Any red flags, just move on to the next one. So there you have it, guys. There are some of the things, after being in this business for a long time, that I think buyers make these mistakes when they hire, when they're doing the home inspection hiring process. So this is something that you have to get right, in my opinion. It's not something that's sort of a cursory thing. Oh, we put an offer on the home, now we're just going to hire anybody to do our home inspection. That is a huge, I can't emphasize, huge mistake. Hiring the right home inspector is the most important thing in this real estate process, okay? The agent will disagree, the attorney's going to disagree, but we are the ones that are going to tell you what's going on with the house to protect your interest, and in doing it in a way that's honest and reputable, right? We're not going to blow smoke. We're not going to embellish problems. We're not going to downplay problems, right? So we are the ones that are really a really super important aspect of the real estate transaction, and you owe it to yourself to do the proper due diligence and get the choice correct. So thank you for watching. My name is John. I'm from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. Please reach out if you have any questions or comments, and we'll see you next time.